Paperplane isn't using this intro anymore, so I've taken it without asking. I also added a fade out, because he didn't even have one before. Let me tell you something. This is the first time I have ever been looking forward to a new Transformers movie. Here are my predictions for Form Morphers 7, The Beast's Increase in Elevation. So let's talk about the development of this movie. After Transformers 6, or Bumblebee, Hasbro had two scripts in development. One was a sequel to Bumblebee, and one was a Beast Wars spin-off movie. It seems that there was a lot of behind-the-scenes competition regarding which film would become Transformers 7, and then the next one would become Transformers 8. Based on what we've heard, it seems that Hasbro went with the Bumblebee sequel, which implies that there were two Beast Wars movies in development? I fully expect this movie to just be a stitched-together mess with the Last Night style 50 plot lines going on. You don't know what's happening, but you're just watching it, you know? I'm not expecting a coherent or a good movie, but I'm expecting an insane movie. Secondly, I think that the human characters in this movie won't really make that much of an impact. Okay, let me take a step back. I love Anthony Ramos. I'm a theater kid. I've known who Anthony Ramos is for years. He was in Hamilton. He died twice. And recently, he led the In the Heights movie.
Taking the flight to a couple of days in the life for what it's like in Washington Heights.
He's a great actor, but I just get the feeling that there's gonna be so much going on that the humans are just gonna be by the wayside. You know, you have an Optimus growing as a leader arc. You have a sequel to Bumblebee. You have two human characters. I don't think it's all gonna click together at all. Thirdly, I expect a fairly G1 accurate team of Autobot characters. We know of Optimus, Bumblebee, RC, and Mirage. Supposedly, they're the four leads of this movie. It's cool to see Mirage on the big screen. I've never particularly cared about him, but he's always been one of those important Autobots who's just not quite important enough to make the main cast. Like, if you were to look at the top 15 Autobots, Mirage is probably number 16. He just misses the mark every time. It's cool to see it. And that red thing from Dark of the Moon, that was not Mirage. He wasn't even named Mirage. I don't know what was happening there. No similarities. On the opposite end, I expect Scourge and Nightbird to share no real similarities with any previous depictions of their characters. You know, firstly, they are terror cons, which is certainly not something that Scourge and Nightbird have been before. I think they're just reusing the name to keep the trademark. I think that these are going to be, for all intents and purposes, new characters who just happen to be named Scourge and Nightbird. I just don't see it. I expect the Beast Wars stuff in the movie to be really detached from what Beast Wars traditionally is. I just don't see executives getting Beast Wars. It's so weird, it's so dated. Clearly, the big suits didn't have the confidence to have a purple talking T-Rex as the main villain because they're cowards. I think that the Beast Wars stuff is gonna be really inaccurate to Beast Wars, and Beast Wars fans are just gonna go like, oh. The one thing that makes me think maybe not, though, is that they casted Ron Perlman as Optimus Primal, and Ron Perlman has already voiced the character.
He was true to his word. He did sacrifice himself. As did Megatron, my brother.
I mean, I get it, you know, it's not Gary Chalk, but Gary Chalk is some random old geezer from Canada who just seems like lost.
Because of the, because it's so, hard on my knee.
Probably not a box office draw, but the fact that they casted Ron Perlman, who has already voiced Primal, shows that someone, somewhere in the production of this movie is paying some attention to the source material and details, which surprises me. But still, it's not enough for me to be optimistic. That being said, I think that this movie will be planting the seeds for a potential full Beast Wars movie down the line. Like I said at the beginning, that script had been in development for a while. I think it's very possible they will use this as a springboard if it does well at the box office. Maybe then we could see more of the traditional Predacons. Maybe then we could see the giant purple dinosaur. Probably not voiced by David Kaye, though. They'd probably get Sean Connery or someone. If you look at the previous Transformers movies, Optimus Prime's truck mode has been getting gradually smaller. He started as a Peterbilt, and then he became smaller. I think that this trend will continue. We've seen set photos of what appears to be Optimus Prime's truck mode. I personally think that those are a red herring. Optimus Prime will transform into a moped. This is something that fans have been clamoring for since 2007, and I think this is the movie that will finally see it happen. Second from last, I expect Jolt to be a major character in this film, possibly the protagonist. I think that they are withholding this information because they don't want to overhype the movie ahead of its release. Jolt is a fan favorite character ever since the 80s, and I think that bringing him into the fold here just makes sense with the direction that the franchise has been heading, but also will just make fans so phenomenally happy. Transformers: Rise of the Beasts will be the first film in the franchise to introduce graphic robot gay sex. This is something that fans of Transformers have been clamoring for ever since 1963. In the same way that Transformers: Age of Extinction took inspiration from Transformers Animated, and Transformers: The Last Knight took inspiration from Transformers Prime, it seems abundantly clear and very natural that Transformers: Rise of the Beasts would take its inspiration from the IDW Comics continuity. I think that Transformers: Rise of the Beasts will showcase a budding romantic tension between Optimus Prime, voiced by Peter Cullen, and Rhinox, the Rhinoceros Maximal. It'll raise a number of questions. What it means for a robot to be in love, or to be gay. It'll be a source of tension, the fact that Optimus Prime, a pure robot, develops interest for Rhinox, who's a techno-organic. It'll be a very natural way for the franchise to explore the themes of nature versus technology, while giving Peter Cullen a new challenge as an actor. In the same way that the Michael Bay movies got around the PG-13 censor by having the excessive gore and blood happen to robots rather than people, I think that Rise of the Beasts will take advantage of this and have a long intercourse scene. Possibly 20 minutes, maybe up to 30. I think it will be a big chunk of the film's runtime. You know, will their baby turn into a rhinoceros, or a truck, or a trinoceros? I think that it's symbolically rich. It makes a lot of sense for Optimus Prime as a character. Keep in mind, this is not what I want to happen necessarily, but this is simply what I think is likely to happen based on the information we have and the direction that the franchise has been heading. So, let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you think I'm spot on with my predictions? Or do you think I'm a little bit off base with my Nightbird and Scourge theory? Feel free to let me know.